Check out the story we got from the Philadelphia Inquirer. This story is a level of deranged. Nothing, I'm going to read the quote. This is the title. Nothing is more important than Team Trump's January PowerPoint urging a full-blown coup. The scariest part about Trump's coup plot, including a Banana Republic-style national emergency, is that the conspiracy is still happening. Is it? The Philadelphia Inquirer, a mainstream publication, is outright telling the people of this country, namely Philadelphia, but also the country, that there is a current, ongoing Donald Trump conspiracy to take over the country. Now, what do you think that's going to do to someone's mind? You got the New York Times saying the white supremacists are coming for you. They're gonna target especially liberal women. It's almost like they're trying themselves to target liberal women with fear to make them lose their minds.
Yep.
And I'll tell you something interesting too. Suburban women in Virginia voted for Youngkin. They voted Republican. Clearly, suburban women do not like Donald Trump. Now you have the Philadelphia Inquirer saying the conspiracy with Trump is still happening. It's a full-blown military coup, and here's the proof. These people live in a very twisted version. It's like a bizarro world.
Clicks.
But if they do, won't that make them...
So here's my theory. There are people who are finally over COVID. They're done with the fear factor of it. So what do you get in place of it? Civil war, coup, Trump takeover of the country.
I disagree, man. I partly agree. I think there's a craving for like the media is like, what can we pump up?
Mm-hmm.
But back in 2018, I said, if what we're seeing with the street fighting across the country popping up all over the place continues, then I think we are heading towards some kind of civil war. I don't know exactly how that will manifest, but people make the mistake of believing it's going to be a Mason-Dixon line and then the state's going like that. It could be something crazy. I don't know. Then in 2019, we saw, more signs of it. It was back in 2018, these articles popped up. And then I started talking to people and they were like, you're crazy. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I would have conservatives in D.C. tell me that. And I'm like, what makes you think it couldn't happen? Like, why do you have that optimism bias? It'll never happen here. And the response I got was, what's happening with Antifa and Proud Boys and right-wing groups and stuff is a bunch of low-level, bored losers fighting in the streets, and it will never reach the seat of government. It will never be in the federal government, and the security state will shut it down. Now we have, political fighting between, the progressive wing and the populist right wing in Congress. Threats of arrest against some of them. Nancy Pelosi saying some of them should be investigated.
How many of them do you think are feds?
Of which ones?
All of them.
Yeah, maybe a lot.
But of our congressmen? You think that they went undercover and ran for office?
No, I mean like Antifa, Proud Boys.
Yeah,
I mean, just like how many?
Ton of them. But so, which is interesting. But the point that was brought up to me was the federal government will never allow it to happen. And I'm like, what happens when this conflict reaches the federal government? If the millennial generation and younger is divided to an extreme degree, and they are taking these seats of power, in 10, 20 years, millennials are going to be the majority, like 80, 90% of Congress. And that culture war is going to be in Congress. It's going to be in the president. It's going to be in the Senate.
God.
Yeah, right.